What's up, guys and gals? Me, Terry, and we have time travelers in the White House. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard, last weekend, April 25th, was the White House Correspondents' Dinner. This is an event hosted by the White House Correspondents Academy, or Collective, where they basically twirl their mustaches and jerk each other off about rich people stuff that doesn't apply to me and you. But anyway, in attendance this year was Donald J. Trump, the 47th and 45th president of the United States himself. And Donald hasn't attended one of these in 15 years, since 2011. The last time he was there didn't go too well for him. I'll let you look into that yourself and figure out why. But with this being the first time he attended in 15 years, it was kind of a big deal that he was there. This is a first for his presidency. Even in his first term, he never attended. And this year's dinner was a bit more crazy, a bit more chaotic, some might say, because, well, somebody attempted to shoot the thing up. There was a gunman who tried to rush past the Secret Service and local law enforcement who were there to protect all of the people inside, including the president and multiple members of his cabinet. And thankfully, this guy was a total idiot and did nothing right. He had no plan and essentially just ruined his life for absolutely no reason and accomplished none of his goals. Now, again, thankfully, he wasn't actually able to hurt anybody, and nobody was harmed or killed, except maybe himself. The alleged shooter was taken down by law enforcement, but he was arrested. It's kind of unclear right now if he sustained any injuries. But he was, in fact, apprehended by law enforcement and is currently being charged with attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. Now, that is a big charge, one that probably few people in history have had to fight before. And he better have good lawyers because he is looking at a long time in prison. Now, just to really give you a picture of what happened this night, take a look at this. This is the security camera footage shared by the president himself of what exactly went down. So, as you could see, the alleged shooter had no game plan and was pretty much immediately subdued. On screen now is a picture of the alleged shooter, who is currently facing trial for this. His name is Cole Allen. He's a former NASA scientist and teacher, and decided to throw away all of that in pursuit of something that he probably knew wasn't going to work out. But this is where the time travel and the real weird stuff surrounding this guy start to come into play. Now, Twitter users following the shooting found an account on Twitter named Henry Martinez that has a single tweet, and it's from 2023. And that tweet, as you can see on screen, says Cole Allen, the name of the alleged shooter in this case. That is very strange, and something that a lot of people are looking at and wondering, how did he know? How did he know the name of this person? Is this random? And why does this exist? But of course, that's not the only thing about this Twitter account that has people convinced that there may be some time travel involved. If you look at the picture, profile picture, he's got a little Pepe, a little trolling. Little Pepe in a tuxedo with a wine glass, and users are pointing out that that is very similar to the outfit that Donald Trump himself wore to the event this night. It was black tie or bow tie, black tux's event, and in this picture you can see Donald Trump, kind of resembles this Pepe that he has as his profile picture. Just a little bit. I can kind of see it. I honestly think that the Pepe suit looks a little bit more expensive than Trump's, but that's neither here nor there. Now, another less strong point that people are pointing out is that Henry Martinez, the name of the account, is actually also the name of a NASA scientist that has published work under NASA, as you can see here. There is no confirmation or no proof that this is actually the same Henry Martinez that appears on this publication, but this Henry Martinez on the publication did work at NASA at the same time that Cole Allen was an intern there, supposedly. So people think, they had time to communicate, they were in cahoots, or maybe they were part of some program that we don't get to hear about, though I'm not super convinced on this point. Now, what's really got people in a tizzy about this is the cover picture for the Henry Martinez account, which if you just look at it, it looks like a bunch of random glitch art. However, Twitter users have traced this image back to a website known as timemachine.eu, and it's from a publication about 3D digital art that was made in 2022. Now, you can trace this back yourself on the Wayback Machine. Here's footage of me doing so. And finding that this piece of art was published on the website in 2022, 4 years before this shooting took place. So why does all this matter? Why is this picture relevant? That is because some Twitter users have also found that this picture actually very closely lines up with the famous Donald Trump fist in the air picture from his 2024 assassination attempt. As you can see here, it lines up well, at least the fist and the face on the Don there does line up pretty well. I also can kind of see the flag portion lining up at least where the stars are. I'm not super convinced about the rest of the image, but I think there is a fair argument that this image and the 2024 Trump picture line up. At least the eyes definitely are tricked into thinking they do, or maybe they do, and the pictures look similar enough that this is definitely weird. The White House has formerly said that our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space, whatever that means. I'm not sure we've actually ever seen it, us regular people, but perhaps there is some, method that the White House has developed, or other governments have developed, and for some reason this dumbass Cole Allen, the alleged shooter, is involved. I'm not really sure what to make of that. But if one thing is for certain, it's that this guy's a dumbass. And I say that because he had a manifesto, which I'm not going to share, where he kind of went into why he did this, and why he viewed this as the best way to go about change in his eyes. And really, he was wrong. All this really accomplished is he got Trump and Trump's media propaganda machine to really start promoting this ballroom that Trump wants to build and has been trying to build. I'm not really sure why the ballroom is the solution to more gun violence in America here, but the administration, which historically and very clearly has been very hostile towards opposition, will absolutely use this to justify further, government overreach, government involvement in our day-to-day lives, and just generally contribute to the us versus them mentality that is very prominent in our media and our political landscape today. All this guy, really accomplished here is another reason to point at individuals who don't agree with Donald Trump and the administration's policies and call them, terrorists or violence or, people that are meant to do harm, evil, the enemy within. And he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life, where people will most likely not remember his name or him or any of his accomplishments. And if he is brought up, well, it'll only be to point and laugh at somebody who did something extraordinarily stupid. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have to say on this topic. If you like what you saw, Please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it, and I am out.